Happy Kids TV.
The Holy Tales.
Are you all waiting to hear a new story from the Bible?
Oh yes, we all are.
Then what are we waiting for? Let's go to Holy.
Hello, kids.
Hi, Holy. It's time for you to tell us a new story from the Bible.
Oh yes, I know. I was wondering which story to read out today. Okay, found it. The name of the story is Eyes to See.
That sounds really interesting. Go on with the story, Holy.
When the army of Aram was at war with the Israelites, the king of Aram made plans of places to attack the Israelites. But God always sent a message to the king of Israel through Elisha, warning him not to go to those places. This made the king of Aram very angry, and he thought that one of his officers might be giving out information to the Israelites. He ordered his officers to come forward and confess, which they all denied.
It's Elisha, the prophet.
They said,
He knows everything that you say, even the things you say privately.
So the king of Aram sent his soldiers to find Elisha. During this time, Elisha was in Dothan. The king of Aram sent his army with many chariots to surround the city of Dothan and capture Elisha. Next morning, Elisha's servant saw the troops with the chariots and was terrified. He quickly ran to Elisha and informed him.
What do we do now?
He cried. Elisha was not at all disturbed by the situation.
Don't worry.
He said very calmly,
We have a lot more soldiers on our side than on theirs.
The servant was confused as he did not understand what Elisha was talking about. Elisha prayed to God to open his servant's eyes. God answered his prayers. Then when Elisha's servant looked around, he saw thousands of soldiers with horses and chariots of fire, God's own army. Aram's army started advancing forward to capture Elisha. Elisha again prayed to God.
Oh Lord, please make the soldiers of Aram blind.
God answered Elisha's prayers once again. When the soldiers were blinded, Elisha went up to the soldiers and said,
The man you are looking for is over that way. Follow me, and I'll take you to him.
The soldiers followed Elisha, who led them to Samaria. Elisha prayed to God once again to restore the soldiers' eyesight. Once Aram's soldiers got their eyesight back, they realized they were in Samaria, in front of the king of Israel. The king of Israel asked Elisha if they should kill them.
No,
Elisha answered,
we do not kill prisoners of the war. Give them food to eat and water to drink, and send them back on their way.
The king of Israel followed Elisha's guidance and arranged a massive feast for Aram's soldiers and sent them back to their land.
That was really a wonderful story, wasn't it?
Oh, yes, it was.
And now it is time for the question of the day. Where was Elisha when the army of Aram came to capture him?
I know. He was in Dothan with his servant.
That is absolutely correct. Well done, kids.
The Holy Tales.
So today, I have decided to tell you the story about what happened when Jonah went to Nineveh to preach God's message.
That sounds quite interesting. Begin with the story, Holy.
All right. So, God once again sent Jonah to Nineveh to deliver his message, the moment the fish spit him out. Jonah obeyed God this time and ran to Nineveh. The city of Nineveh was so huge that it took 3 days for Jonah to see all of it. As Jonah entered the city, he shouted,
40 days from now, Nineveh will be destroyed.
The people of Nineveh were so scared they believed his message. Every single person living in Nineveh, from the richest to the poorest, fasted and wore sackcloth to show their sorrow. Even the king stepped down from his throne, took off his royal robe, and wore a sackcloth. He issued a decree in all of Nineveh that no living being, including animals, should eat or drink anything. Everyone must turn away from evil ways, stop violence, wear sackcloth, and pray, so that God may have pity on them and not destroy them. When God saw that the people were turning away from their evil ways and starting to follow him, he had mercy on them and did not destroy the city. This made Jonah very, very angry. He shouted,
I knew you would do something like this, and that's why I ran away the first time. You are so loving and compassionate that I knew you would forgive them. Kill me. Let me die. What are you so angry about?
God asked Jonah. Jonah went outside the city of Nineveh and built a shelter where he could sit and wait to see what happened to the city. God made a plant grow with big leaves so that it could shade Jonah from the sun. Jonah was very grateful for the plant. But a few days later, God made a worm in the plant, which ate its stem from inside, finally killing it. Jonah did not have any shade from the scorching sun anymore. He was so miserable, he prayed to God to kill him. God asked Jonah,
Is it right for you to be angry because the plant died? Yes, angry enough to die.
Jonah shouted. God said,
You feel bad for the plant, even though you did nothing to make it grow. Plants have short lives, but there are almost 120,000 people living in the city of Nineveh who know nothing about me. Shouldn't I feel sorry for them?
That was a good way God used to make Jonah understand, don't you think?
Yes, it was. That was a wonderful story, Holy. So what is today's question?
How many people lived in the city of Nineveh?
I know. 120,000.
That's absolutely correct. Well done, Freckles.
The Holy Tales.
So let us start with today's story and not waste any more time.
Yay! It's story time!
So today's story is how Joseph escaped to Egypt with Mary and Jesus. Soon after the wise men left, God appeared to Joseph in a dream and asked him to take Mary and Jesus out of Judah.
Run to Egypt because King Herod wants to hurt Jesus. He is going to look for him and kill him. Stay in Egypt until I tell you when it is safe to return.
Even though it was the middle of the night, Joseph took Jesus and Mary and escaped to Egypt. They stayed there until God appeared to Joseph in another dream and told him that it was now safe to return to Judah. King Herod was very angry when he realized that the wise men had tricked him by taking another way. He had to make sure that this new king of the Jews didn't capture his own kingdoms. So he ordered his guards to kill all the baby boys in and near Bethlehem who were 2 years old or younger. This was a terrible time for the mothers who wanted their baby boys to be saved, and they cried when they couldn't. After the death of King Herod, one of God's angels appeared to Joseph and told him that it was now safe to take Jesus back home, as the people who tried to kill the Son of God were dead. Following the angel's advice, Joseph took Jesus and Mary to Nazareth because he heard that another bad king was ruling in the place where they had lived before. This made the prophecy come true that Jesus would also be called a Nazarene, the one who is from Nazareth.
King Herod was a really bad king. I don't like him.
Yeah, me too.
Holy, what is the question you were going to ask us today?
The question is, what was Jesus known to be since he came from Nazareth?
I know. He was called to be a Nazarene, the one who is from Nazareth.
Well done, Freckles.
Thank you, Holy. But I still don't like King Herod.
I know, Freckles. We all don't. We'll be back soon. Keep watching. Bye-bye.
To watch more videos, please subscribe.
Plants and trees. On the fourth day, God created the sun to shine in the day, the moon and stars to come out at night. One day, Moses went to Mount Horeb with his sheep. There, God appeared to him as a flame of fire in a bush. Since there was no room anywhere else, they decided to spend the night in a stable. Here, Mary had her baby, Jesus. She wrapped him in a blanket and put him to sleep.
He's got the whole